was the country that almost conquered the world. Here's what really happened. In 1206, a warrior named Temujin united the Mongol tribes. They called him Genghis Khan. That year, the world changed. By 1215, he captured Beijing. Northern China was the first to fall. Then he turned west. Across deserts and mountains, they wiped out kingdoms one by one. Entire cities were burned to the ground. Millions were killed. By the 1240s, they had crossed into Europe. Poland, Hungary, Russia. No one could stop them. European armies were crushed. But then, the great Khan died, and the Mongol generals retreated. Europe was saved by a funeral. Then came the second wave. In 1258, they destroyed Baghdad in just 7 days. The Mongols ended the Islamic Golden Age with fire and blood. They kept expanding. By the 1260s, their empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the edge of Austria. China, Korea, the Middle East, Central Asia, Eastern Europe, all under one rule. 9 million square miles, 1/5 of the Earth's land.
Ever wondered about the transformation of King Henry VIII from the Golden Prince to a weighty ruler? King Henry VIII, the ruler of England from 1509 to 1547, began as the Golden Prince, known for his love of arts and sports. Standing at 6 feet 2 inches, he weighed around 200 pounds. However, a significant injury, where his horse fell on him, changed everything. The injury didn't heal properly, causing chronic pain and infection, and his weight soared to 320 pounds. Simple tasks like getting out of bed became a challenge. Beyond his vibrant exterior, Henry had a less admirable side, marked by a ruthless nature. His reign witnessed an extraordinary number of executions, over 70,000 in 38 years. Executions became a tool to eliminate those who disagreed with him, shaping his legacy as a king with a heavy hand.
Did you know that all humans comes from the same place? Here's how we spread everywhere. It all started 200,000 years ago in Africa, where the first humans evolved. For thousands of years, they thrived there until they began venturing beyond, searching for new lands and opportunities. 70,000 years ago, small groups left Africa and moved into the Middle East. As they adapted to new environments, their cultures, languages, and technologies began to evolve. 50,000 years ago, they reached Asia and Australia, adapting to jungles, deserts, and remote islands, with some even using early boats to explore. 40,000 years ago, they entered Europe, where the Ice Age forced them to develop better clothing, shelter, and hunting skills to survive. 15,000 years ago, they crossed into the Americas, walking from Alaska to South America. They adapted to plains, mountains, and freezing tundras, eventually building some of the first great civilizations. From a small population in Africa to 8 billion people worldwide, this journey changed history. But the real question is, where do you think humans will migrate next? Let me know in the comments.
It turns out children have always acted the same way, and it's pretty funny. Meet Orphan, a boy from 13th century Russia. We know this child because we found his homework, which was engraved into birch bark, something that tends to preserve quite well. From his homework, we know his name was Orphan, that he was 7 years old, and that he was doing some spelling exercises. But here's the best part. Orphan used to draw all over his work, and from these drawings we learn about his life and his great imagination. He drew himself riding a horse trampling over his enemies. He drew himself and all of his friends together. He even drew himself as some sort of monster and wrote, "I am a beast." But here's my personal favorite. He drew himself being yelled at by his teacher. This child lived 800 years ago, and yet his imagination and drawings aren't any different from the children of today. Isn't that interesting?